I guess we'll call this tape my first, major vision or visitation, what have you. Uh, I don't know. I might have a tendency to get kind of emotional regarding certain features of this meeting with this angel, uh, based on some things that happened uh, later on. Okay, let's start out like this. Somewhere when I was about 16 years old, or no, I mean about 17 years old, in high school, in the 12th grade, at going to James Madison High over in Claremont. It's a suburb of San Diego. Um, Went to sleep like everybody else does. I had somebody pick me up through the roof of the house, and as I was going up through the roof, before I even think what was going on, I could actually see all the studs and stuff like inside the roof, and then taken up in the air from my house, which was on a street called Ducommon. And this entity that picked me up was, I would assume, it was an angel. It was kind of a chiffon color, kind of like a white with a slight bit of peach color to it. Face of the angel, presumably, or son of God or whatever, uh, was normal complexion, normal look. Wasn't mad or happy, but sort of focused. He enveloped kind of a cubicle area, and when he was flying through the air with me, I could actually feel the coldness on my skin. He was probably like 20 foot cube, 20 feet by 20 feet by 20 feet, like in a cube. Anyway, we were flying down, from my house. I live next to a Highway 52, which intersects in dead ends. Well, yeah, more or less at Interstate 5, which had just been finished during that time period. We were flying through the air, coming within a few hundred feet of Interstate 5. I don't know how fast we were traveling. I don't know, 20, 30 miles an hour through the air. And it was about I think it was like 5, maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. It was early. We could see trucks driving up and down the roadway. Couldn't hear any noise. Just could hear it off in the distance. I could see them off in the distance. When we got within a certain distance of the highway, all that stuff disappeared. That's where it gets kind of perplexing for me. But the sky overhead, which was sort of overcast, now had become kind of turbulent. There were like patches of clouds that were moving from the west, from the south to the north, and the on the highway were groups of people. There were in two lines, probably 50 per line, and then side by side would make them 100, and then there was a space, and there was another 100, and then there was another space in front of them and back of them where there's other groups like that. I went down in front of the one of the bands that was standing there with a blue suit on. I looked up in his eyes as if looking from the ground, and he looked either to the right or the left, or up and down. So then there were like these angels. I saw them like with billowy clothes on the sides of these different units, which probably comprised 200 men. And then I saw them all the way down to the state line, which would be San Ysidro. San Ysidro, then you have Tijuana, which of course another country. It's Mexico. And then I looked to the north, and I saw, as it were, like the impression I got when I saw it was like the eyes of the Lord, and I saw the different archangels like Gabriel, and in the north, and like the face of the Lord over the horizon, and then I heard a voice speak. I saw a trumpet blown, and sort of voice, and a voice spoke and says, "Time to march." So there's like successive commands was all the way down to the border, and the people start marching, and so I watched them march up. They got to an area up the coast where there's like a dip in the road where the road kind of drops down. It's like, I think it was the Piticus Lagoon. It's in La Costa area. You guys can do your geographical background study on this. And when the army of the Lord came to that point, their bodies went down, but somehow their spirits separated from their body. Oh no, that's wrong. No, they went straight across in the air, didn't go down, and just like went straight across as if they were like walking on a road that wasn't there. And then when they got to the other side, their bodies split up, where their body kept moving down the road, but their spirit went up above them, higher. And it took me a long time to understand what that was about. It was all pretty new to me. I talked to people afterwards, and nobody knew what I was talking about. Then so then I saw that, and then the angel of the Lord, as it were, it was 20 feet. It was reasonably nice to be around. Took me down to an area which appeared to be something like the Salt Lake Flats up in Northern California, and now his visage changed. He was probably I don't know, 200 or 300 feet high, and very gaunt, slender looking, and had like a girdle on of leather, and he had a sword across his from one side of the body to another, like like he was it was like in a holster, and he had a staff in his hand. And as he looked up to his face, it was terrible to look upon. It frightened the hell out of me. And above him was a cloud, and in that cloud was darkness, and inside the cloud were voices, and strong lightning, and then the cloud. There was a vision within the cloud. There were actually people within the cloud that were, I guess, other like angelic entities or people that were carrying on there. And then he proceeded to speak, and he says, he named my whole name, Paul, blah blah blah, and then when he spoke, his voice was like thunder, and the whole valley shook, and the tops of the mountains rocked, and he says, remember the things which have been shown out to you this day. And he took his staff and he jammed it on the ground, So I'm looking at this whole thing, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell does this stuff mean? I mean, even in this dream vision, what do you want to call? I was even saying that back in my mind, I was saying, what the hell does this stuff mean? Sure, I'm going to remember what the hell does it mean. So then somehow or another, I woke up. Here's the ironic kicker on this whole thing. My father, who is not potentially or not a very religious person per se, which is all right, he said he looked for me that night. For some reason, he got up and he looked for me for like he said he looked for me for like 4 hours, and he couldn't find me. So I mean, it was the first incident. There's more things to be said here about this thing. I guess I'm going to make this part one. There were other things that tied into this vision, which affected me, as well as affects actually probably a good number of people on planet Earth. Not that I'm God's gift to everybody here, but I didn't go seek this ministry; it came to me. It's a little different than my seeking it.